his hands. He looked like he'd been slapped out of a daydream. He set his refreshments down, freeing up his hands. This was important. A lot of people can do amazing things with their hands. Some people can paint a picture that looks as pretty as you please. Others can pick up a hammer and nails and build an entire house. But I'm willing to bet you've never seen anything like what Cousin Jack can do. You see, Jack's last name is Bailey, and Baileys are different. Not just a little bit different, a lot different. Jack held out his right hand, though actually either one would have worked, and a stream of water poured from his palm. It was like those fancy fountains where the dolphin statue shoots water out of its mouth. Cousin Jack's aim was true. Water struck fire, which sputtered and died in a hiss of steam. The drapes, now black and smoking, were drenched. Baileys are super. "Who gave Great Aunt Silva Matilda fizzy lemonade?" Grandpa asked. He said it in the same way that you would say, "Who smeared chocolate pudding all over the dog?" His face was stern. "Didn't I tell everybody the bubbles make her burp?" You see, Great Aunt Silva Matilda is a Bailey, too. I've been told that in the good old days, she could breathe fire just like a dragon in a fairy tale. She could knock over a supervillain at 50 paces and brown a marshmallow at 100. And though her crime-fighting days are long behind her, as are her s'mores-making days, she still has a little bit of power left. "Point her toward the fireplace, will you, Rafter?" Grandpa asked me. "She'll likely be burping up a storm all afternoon." I got up and wheeled Great Aunt Silva Matilda over to the fireplace, making sure to point her toward the bricks. In spite of all the ruckus, I watched the clock like a hawk. At that point, I still very much believed that today would be the best day of my life. Great Aunt Silva Matilda first burped at 4:02. By the time the fire was out, it was 4:03. And by the time I'd situated Great Aunt Silva Matilda by the fireplace and returned to my seat at the piano, the clock on the wall read 4:04. 19 minutes. In 19 minutes, I would finally have a superpower of my own. That is why I expected it to be the best day of my life. At 4:23 in the afternoon, on February 29th, any Bailey aged 12 or older gets a superpower. Benny was 12, and I was 13, so we'd both get a superpower at the same time. No one in our family knows why it happens to us, why the universe chose the Bailey family to be the defenders of everything right and good. We don't question why. We just accept the responsibility. Benny started counting on his fingers. After a few seconds of flicking them up and down, he turned to me and asked, "How much longer?" I looked at the clock, hoping it had advanced another minute. It hadn't. 19 minutes. "Why do we get our powers at 4:23? He asked. "I wish it were at 4:30. That would make it easier to do the math." Benny brightened. "Actually, it would be better if we got our powers at 4 o'clock, because then we'd already be superheroes." Benny flexed his muscles, and I hid a smile. Benny threw the clock a sour look. "I think that thing's busted. I'm going to get something to eat." He left the room. I counted the number of superheroes in the living room. There were 11 total, counting Great Aunt Silva Matilda. In just a few minutes, we'd have 13. I couldn't help it. I was grinning like an idiot. Benny returned with a plate of traditional leap year refreshments: green olive pie, toasted buckwheat, and a glass of fizzy pink lemonade. 4:08. I couldn't sit still for another 15 minutes. I walked over to the window and looked at the gray sky and gray snow. I guess maybe I should have seen that as an omen. All that gray. My 16-year-old cousin Jessie played with two of my younger cousins outside. In our family, you aren't told the family secret until you're 10, old enough to keep it safe.